Hi, this is Stefan Gonik, Soulmate Attraction Mentor and founder of the Soulmate Attraction Academy from singletosoulmate.me. Welcome to Love Talk Q&A, the place to be to get your questions answered about finding and keeping the love of your life. So in this episode of Love Talk Q&A, I'm going to answer the following question. Stefan, please help me. I have this pattern in my relationships where I find myself focusing on what's wrong with my partner, and they're usually really small things, and it causes a lot of problems for me. How can I stop doing this? Well, first of all, I really want to congratulate you for having the self-awareness to recognize that you're doing this. Because lots of people do this in their relationships and they don't even realize they're doing it. And it does cause a lot of problems. In fact, this is such a common phenomenon that we have a name for it, and we call it blemishing. So the idea behind blemishing is that you focus on small imperfections in your partner. Right? Everybody is a mixture of good traits and negative traits and the whole gamut. And when we first meet somebody during the honeymoon phase, we sort of do the opposite. We focus on just what's great about this person and we don't notice anything else, right? But once you get into a relationship and you get into a more normal place, we do see the whole person, and that's healthy. But then in blemishing, we go too far the other way and we just start focusing on these little minor imperfections, these little negative things, right? Where you start getting really bugged by some particular thing. So what is going on here? Why would a person do this? And in fact, this is something that I used to do myself. That was one of my patterns, was to do this blemishing thing with my partner. And it was no fun for me because I'd be focusing on this negative stuff and I would feel more distant from her. And if she sensed I was doing that, it would feel bad to her, but she'd feel kind of criticized and stuff. Even if I didn't say it out loud, or heaven forbid, I actually did say something out loud, that'd be even worse, right? So why did I do that and why do other people do that? Well, it turns out where blemishing comes from is from being in your relationship and feeling afraid, right? So when we're in our relationship, there's things can be going really well. And in fact, that can be the very thing that can be scary. Right? We all have fears around intimacy. We've had bad experiences. We all had a childhood where there were some problems in our childhood in our families. So we all come to our relationship with fear. So if at some moment in your relationship you start feeling fear, we subconsciously react to that fear. And this is the key. We subconsciously, without being aware of it, react to that fear by trying to create some distance so we can be less afraid. It's the closeness that's making us afraid. So ironically, this sometimes happens right after you had a few days of things being super good. Because if things are really good, then you feel closer, but in the act of feeling closer, that might bring up some subconscious fear. And then subconsciously, we're going to do something to try and create some distance so it'll be less scary. This is all happening subconsciously. And one of the ways we do that is blemishing. Another way we do that is to start a fight out of the blue. Just pick a fight for no good reason. Bam, that creates distance, right? But in this particular question, the question was about focusing on small negative things wrong with our partner, some negative thing about our partner, which is blemishing. So that's what happens. Like everybody has sort of their subconscious method for creating distance. And focusing on small perfections, for some people, that's their method. That was my method. I didn't start fights. I would blemish. Okay? So what do you do about this? So we now understand why we do it. It comes from fear, and that's the key to understand what to do about this. So what you do is if you notice that you're blemishing, if you notice you're focusing on some imperfection in your partner to the exclusion of all their good traits, right? What you do is you go, I must be feeling some fear right now, right? So we all tend to suppress our emotions. So sometimes you have to use clues, right? That we're feeling a feeling based on our behavior. So if our behavior is that we're blemishing, we're focusing on some negative trait, then we conclude from that as a detective that, I must be feeling scared in my relationship right now. Now, the fear could come from having just been really close and that got a little too much for me, or some other thing that could have happened that made me scared. But for whatever it is, the blemishing is coming from fear and a subconscious need to create some distance. So what I started doing with that awareness is that if I noticed I was blemishing and therefore concluded I must be feeling fear, I would actually share that with my partner. Not the blemishing part, because that's just a symptom and it doesn't feel good. But I would just share that I'm feeling a little scared right now. And lots of times I wasn't even necessarily sure what I was scared about, but I would just approach my partner and say, I seem to be feeling scared because I'm noticing myself pulling away. Again, I didn't say how I'm pulling away. I didn't say I'm pulling away because I'm focusing on the little gap between your two teeth, or something like that. I'm just saying I'm noticing I'm pulling a little away right now, and that must be that I'm scared. And that's the opposite of pulling away, isn't it? It's coming towards my partner. And if you have a partner who's willing to talk about these things, it's a way of actually coming back together. So she might say, oh, well, thank you for sharing that with me. What are you scared of? And I might either be aware, I'll think about it, go, well, actually, I think I'm scared because we actually had these really great 3 days together, this great weekend together, and we got really close, and I think that was just a little scary. And ideally, she'll go, that's okay. I had a great weekend with you too. It's natural to get scared sometimes with when you're extra close. Just being understanding about it. Or sometimes, she might say, well, what are you scared of? And I go, I'm not quite sure. I haven't gotten in touch with specifically what I'm afraid of right now, but it feels good just to let you know that I'm feeling a little scared because that brings me closer to you rather than pulling away, which I noticed I was doing before. So that's good. The other thing you can do is also just take a little break. And I don't mean a relationship break. You might just say, hey, I'm going to take some time to myself. I'm going to go, I want to read a book on my own for a while. I think I'm going to go for a walk or whatever. Right? Just take a little breather, a little break. So you sort of take some distance consciously instead of subconsciously. Because when you do it consciously, it doesn't hurt anything. The problem with taking distance subconsciously is the other person feels it, right? If your partner suddenly starts to pull away from you, you'll feel it, but you don't know why they're doing it, and that tends to feel bad. It feels hurtful. And through our own insecurities, we start doubting ourselves. Like, did I do something wrong? My partner seems a little more distant, seems to be pulling away a bit. What did I do, right? But if you just tell your partner, I think I'm going to go for a walk for a while. I feel like, doing something on my own for a little while or something like that. They go, oh, okay, great. See you later. And so when we consciously take distance, take space, that'll help us recover. And then we come back and we're ready to connect again. That's a good way of taking care of ourselves without damaging the connection in any way. Now, if you're an EFT person like me, if once you get in touch with what the fear is, or as you're going on your walk trying to get in touch with the fear, once you identify it, you can do some tapping on it, where you tap on the fear itself until you get relief from the fear, and that also helps you reconnect. So anyway, I hope this helps you understand this whole phenomenon of blemishing. You're already aware that you're doing it. We now have a name for it. And to understand now where it comes from some subconscious fear rising up that you're not totally consciously aware of that causes you to do something to create distance. In this case, find fault, focus on minor faults, imperfections in your partner. And then what you can do instead, as you become aware, you can take actions that either bring you to your partner instead of pulling away, or you consciously take some space so you can handle it in a healthy way. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Love Talk Q&A. Did you like this video? If so, click on the like button below, subscribe to this channel, and spread the love to your friends. And if you have questions about your love life, please submit them in the comments below, and your question just might appear in an upcoming episode of Love Talk Q&A. Also, if you would like to understand the 3 key blocks to finding love and how to attract your soulmate now, sign up for the free Finding the Love You Want mini course. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, and remember, no matter how long you've been trying, you really can have the life and love you long for. This is Stefan Gonick, International Love Coach from FindingTheLoveYouWant.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Love Talk Q&A.